Welcome. Today I want to talk to you about the principle of isolated training. Let's learn how to crack the training enigma. When I grew up, I learned something called the law of causality. Now, what's the law of causality? It basically means that if you want any form of a result, then identify its cause and understand that the cause leads to a result. So, the law of causality basically says that if you desire any particular result, work on the cause. So, in case you want to be a grandmaster, then you practice hard. In case you want to become successful at academics, get a PhD or something like that, then you study hard. And if you want to become really successful in your career or business, then you work hard. Now, this worked fantastic to a certain extent, but then it started to crumble. What is the reason behind it? Because humans tend to think reductively. So we try and establish, we kind of lose nuance, we lose the details, we forget to pay attention to the intricacies of exactly what's happening, the process behind it. We try to make it extremely reductive. And then we say, oh, you want to become a grandmaster? Then you practice hard, you work hard, without realizing there's a lot more that's going on. So what really is going on? Let's try and understand that. In reality, though, what I have come to understand is that if you want a particular result, yes, there is a cause, but that's not the only one. There could be another cause, or for that matter, another one, or for that matter, another one, or for that matter, many, many, many more things that actually cause the particular result. This I call the law of emergence. So the thing that we need to remember is, in case we want to become a grandmaster, yes, tournament play is definitely something that's going to make you a grandmaster. So you got to be excellent at playing tournaments and winning games. But that's not enough. You need to be very good at playing different types of games in chess. Play fast chess, slow chess, long duration chess, short duration chess, bullets, all of that. You got to be really good at solving puzzles. You got to be really good at opening theory. You got to be really good at performing complex mental calculations in your brain. So all of this do play a role in order to make anybody a grandmaster. In other words, excellence is multifactorial. There's no one particular factor that leads to excellence. Excellence is a result of many factors that come together. Now, why is this important? The reason it's important is because if you really want to achieve any result in your life, then you definitely want to understand all the factors. You don't think of it just as one cause that leads to a result, but rather you think of all the factors that affect the result. So let's apply that to something as simple as a novice level training. So the first thing is, if you're a novice in chess, your goal is not a grandmaster. Your goal is to become a beginner. Just go to the next level. Forget about the long distance vision. Becoming a grandmaster could be your vision. It's just something in your mind. It's a vision. It's good to have a vision, but the goal needs to be very specific. You need to go to the next level. You've got to stop identifying as a novice and become a beginner. So what should you do? You isolate your training. The most important thing a novice needs is to build familiarity of chess, familiarity of the game, familiarity of positions, familiarity of the board, familiarity of the concepts, familiarity of the fundamentals. Just make your brain accept chess and say, oh, I know this. This is chess. I know all the fundamentals. I know all the basics. That's exactly what you're going to be looking at. So if you're a novice, or if your child is a novice and you start thinking, which tournament should I take my child? Not really the best way you want to train. It's just way too much. It's nothing wrong with taking them to a tournament. You can take them to a tournament, and even tournament is going to be something that makes them familiar with chess. However, the return on investment is a little low. Or should I just make my novice child sit and do puzzles day in, day out? Not really. You can do very simple ones. You can do a lot of activities which will be way more effective in terms of training than just doing puzzles. Should I be teaching him opening theory? Not at all. Stay away from it. You're still a novice. Should I be learning chess theory about positions and positional excellence and strategy and all of that? Not really. Your goal is become familiar with the fundamentals of chess. You should not be doing illegal moves, for example, and that can happen only when you're basically familiar with the whole thing. Let's take it another level. How do I do a beginner level training? The goal of a beginner level again is not to become, a chess master or a grandmaster, but just to go to the intermediate level, which means the most important thing a beginner needs is board vision, the ability to observe the board and understand all the nuances and the undercurrents in a position. Should I be doing tournaments? I'd prefer not to. Even at the beginner level, you don't want to do tournaments, and it's the number of factors that you have to deal with a tournament is just way too many. You're not isolating your training. Should I do puzzles? Yeah, maybe. Right? Puzzles is the way you kind of build your board vision. The goal is board vision, and the means to do it is puzzles. Should I be doing gameplay? Yes, once in a while. But definitely not as much as puzzles. So you probably want to create a training plan that's about 80% puzzles, 20% gameplay. Should I be doing chess studies? Not at this level. You go to intermediate to start doing chess studies. But you can definitely try it out. Now, the point is, if you want to be in isolated training, if you want to get the benefit of isolated training, you cannot have the attitude of, oh, even this can be helpful, and even that can be helpful, and even I can do that, and this, and I can do. What's wrong in doing a tournament? What's wrong in doing a chess study? Absolutely nothing. If it happens in the flow of things, absolutely do it. For example, if your school is conducting a tournament, you want to play, and it's like least, very low effort to actually go play the tournament, do it completely. If it's chess studies and your, chess coach has just happened to discuss a particular study in a WhatsApp group, try it out. Nothing harmful about it. But remember, the majority of your training needs to be towards developing your board vision. That's what training in isolation is. And that's why it's a principle and not a rule. Because if it were a rule, I would just be telling you, do 100% puzzles. Don't look at anything else. That's not the point. There's always an exception to a rule. And a principle respects that particular exception. A principle here is that try to make the percentage of your effort in puzzles as high as possible. All right. So what if I'd like to work on my mental stamina? There is a training plan for that. You can focus specifically on a particular tool, a particular method. You could say, I'd like to improve my opening speed. There is a way to do that. You could say, oh, in this situation, I'd like to solve puzzles really, really fast. There are tools for that, and there are training methodologies for that. I'd like to build my calculation skills. This is where studies can really, really help you. I'd like to prepare for tournaments. Yes, there is a particular plan to do that and a way to approach this whole problem. I'd like to build my consistency. In other words, my work ethic, and absolutely can be done with a training plan. And this is where the isolation training principle is applied, and which is what we apply in Zugzwang to help our kids. So what is the next steps? I would say leveraging new age knowledge. Now, growing up, you'd have heard of knowledge is power. Yes, knowledge is power, but in the 21st century, it's actually changed a bit. I would say knowledge has changed because it's more insightful and action-oriented knowledge that is actually power. Knowledge that's just sitting there in your head, memorized, and that's more akin to information that's freely available on social media and YouTube. That's not going to be power. The real power is new age knowledge. It's the insightful and action-oriented knowledge, something of what I've just taught you in terms of developing your training plan and leveraging the isolated training principle. So what should you do? You should be understanding your current level and devise your training plan accordingly. Don't blindly practice. Just spending time on chess doesn't mean that you're going to get good at it. You will, but it's just going to take a lot more time and effort. So, you'll be running out of superlatives for practice hard. You can say practice hard, practice harder, practice hardest, but even that won't be enough if you don't do it in a smart way. I hope this is helpful for you, and I hope that you will think about your training plan or your child's training plan. And if you would like to know more about it, you can always get in touch with me. through the comment section, or you can reach out to my academy, which is Exoin Academy, and we'd be more than happy to help you with your training needs and your development in chess. So follow this channel, click on the subscribe button, like this particular video so that the YouTube algorithm is happy, and click on the bell icon so that you don't miss the next insightful video on training methods or development in chess in general. Thank you so much. I hope to see you in the next video.